What is the wisdom behind the eclipse prayers? Okay, so as you know, the sun, the solar and the lunar eclipses are both tremendous signs of Allah's power. The moon being 400 times closer to us than the sun, and yet 400 times smaller than the sun, means that when the moon does come between us and the sun directly, it completely blocks out the sun. If you really think about it, it's a tremendous sign of Allah's power and the precision of Allah's work in the way He created things, Subhanahu wa Taala. It shows He has vast amounts of knowledge. It has, tremendous amounts of infinite power, infinite knowledge, and all of these things indicate to us that Allah Azza wa Jal is the Supreme Being. And so the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam taught us that when the eclipse happens, that we should engage in worship, we should pray. And the reason for this is it's a recognition of the supremacy of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. How many people in the past looked at what they thought were natural events, and they were destroyed because of their prior sins and prior kufr and rejection of prophets. So it's a manifestation of Allah's jalal, His majesty. So the best approach for a believer in this situation is to try and engage in worship as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam recommended to us. Kana idha fazi'a, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in a state where he recognized something's really difficult happening, he'd go and pray. He would connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's ways of doing it. You can make a dua, you can call out to Allah. But the greatest way is what the Prophet taught us sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and to pray. So if you're able to pray during these times, then it's a tremendous thing to do so. So that's the wisdom. It's a recognition of Allah's supremacy, His power, and the fact that we're subject to His will at any time. If He can make that happen, He could potentially punish everyone for their crimes. Yet He doesn't. We're constantly under the merciful gaze of Allah Azza wa Jal. He's showing us mercy and kindness constantly. So it's a way of connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah.